He's preparing the live stream. Oh my goodness. All right, there it is. Hi, we are live on Facebook and we're now recording. Thank you everybody for coming out today. This is so exciting. This was probably one of the most fun projects that we've done. Seriously. I was got an email from Asela about, when we were having our open reading period about micro chapbook. And I was like, well, let's send it over and see what we got. So good. And immediately, just the theme of it, I was like, okay, we have to do something different and fun with this. This just can't be like just the boring chapbook to go out. I'm not saying chapbooks are boring, but we didn't want it to be boring. So it is a CD. And it's got some beautiful artwork on it, and the cover artist is here in the house. And if you look in the tape, it has her name. And then you can take out the spiffy little insert for the CD. And it's a chapbook. What more could you want? You get to hear her read the poems. You get to read the poems yourself. You can read along. It is everything you could ever want in a chapbook, and it was super fun. And it is what I've been saying. This is the summer jam. Who knew poetry was the summer jam, right? So I'm just thrilled that y'all are here today to celebrate this with us. And Asela has had a couple of her friends come join us today, and the cover artist join us today. And so we're going to get you psyched up by letting them read a little bit. First up, we have Kattrina. Kattrina M. is a queer writer and poet from Redding, California. She has appeared in several independent magazines such as Silk Club, Marias at Sampaguitas, I hope I didn't mess that up, and Polemical Zine. She also hosts Two in Sync, an Asian woman-led podcast with our guest of honor. And I will drop her socials in the chat so you can grab those if you want to give her a follow. And I'm going to turn it over to you, Kattrina.
All right. Thank you, Karen, for that lovely introduction. Hi, everyone. My name is Kattrina, pronouns she, her, and I'm so excited to be here because this is just such a special occasion. For those who don't know, Asela has been my best friend for, oh my gosh, a few years now, ever since we met at college. And just to witness her grow as an artist and now finally seeing her publish her micro chapbook, it's just it's heartwarming, and I just am so happy for her. So I will go ahead and get my reading started. Let me just hop into my Google Docs really quick. Okay, so I have 3 pieces for you today. This first one I wrote during National Poetry Writing Month. It's inspired by a K-pop song called Attention by New Jeans. And this is actually one of Asela's favorites, and she requested I read this. So this is Butterfly after New Jeans' Attention. You give me so many butterflies. I started wearing them.
I read this. So
sorry, what? Okay. You give me so many butterflies. I started wearing them in my hair, finding them as doodles in my journal, and flying outside my window. I've been used to eyes following me with every step I take, but I've been oblivious to your eyes on me. And now you've changed my mind. Now you have my attention. kind of a short and sweet piece. Okay. So my next one is a little longer, a little bit more of a rant. I think a little bit of a content warning. There's some kind of allusions to like small town racism and I guess a little bit of body horror if you consider bug bites body horror. So this is called country life shit. Country life shit is waking up to a rooster cockadoodling like a 50s cartoon. Country life shit is the neighbor's horses peering at me like I'm stashing carrots under my skirts. Country life shit is tolerating country music, then becoming horrified when you recognize someone other than baby Taylor Swift. Country life shit is tolerating the curious glances by folks from the holiday market at your tan skin. Country life shit is wondering how many of said folks are mentally playing the guess what race that girl in the mushroom dress is. Country life shit is wondering if it's safe to go to Pride. Country life shit is learning that your hometown was a sundown town. Country life shit is 45 flags, guns, and propaganda. Country life shit is remaining calm in the face of another man who licks the boots of billionaires and or a man with Cheeto dust as his skin. Country life shit is bug bites from fire ants crushed by bony ass, mosquitoes drunk off O negative and humidity, and fleas from my cats. Bug bites is country life shit is exhausting, but I don't have the heart to leave this place behind because memory is an anchor I can't drag out of the ground. Okay. So thank you. And for my last piece, this is actually not an old piece. I actually wrote this last week during a workshop, and it's called "I'm Sorry, I Need My Fancy Little Drink to Survive." Rag on me all you want for spending so much on something so temporary, but it's how I can relax after a hard day, read every day. Caramel iciness through a green straw and drizzle on my tongue cools me during the unforgiving Reading summers. Boba is for when I've had too much coffee, and it brings me closer to an Asian childhood I never had. These drinks tell me, you did well today. Now you can finally rest. And that's it for me, y'all. Thank you so much for listening. And Asela, I love you. Congratulations.
Thank you. Wow. The chat's just filling up with snaps for you. That was amazing.
Thank you. I will go ahead and go through them right now because I was only looking at my Google Docs the whole time. So I have no idea what any of y'all said, but I hope you enjoy it.
Absolutely. All right. All right. Next up, we have Dina Klarisse coming up. She is a writer, editor, and a recovering Catholic. She writes to investigate the intersections of language, history, culture, and identity. Her work has been published in ASU's Canyon Voices, the Daily Drunk Mag, Chopsticks Alley, and Collapsia. Sorry, I hope I pronounced that right. Literary Journal, among others. She's the author of the poetry chapbook Hand Spun Rosaries. And take it away, Dina. Thank you for coming today.
Thank you, Karen, and congratulations again, Asela. I've said it once, I'll say it until I die. You are one of the kindest, most supportive, and most brilliant people I've known. For a little bit of background, I met Asela a couple years ago when I joined the team at Chopsticks Alley, and she was our editor. And she was just always so supportive, such a bright part of everyone's day. And seeing this incredible work finally come to fruition is just, it's amazing. And it's amazing seeing you grow and growing with you. I have 3 pieces to share The first one I actually wrote in honor of my friends Asela, Nashira, and Katrina in the light of a really difficult time we all went through together. It's called Wind Drift Carries Soil. Wind drift carries soil across the garden path, dangerously teetering along highway. I could not fathom these autumn walks eroding into concrete skyscrapers that house only spreadsheets and artfully rustic houseplants. I'll take the weeds and the moss, plant them along the trodden path if only for our footsteps to greet. We never belong to elevators and rules anyway. The highway sounds are background noise to the chitter-chatter of our meandering and skipping. Along this path, insects are welcome. Worms crawl happily to munch on fallen leaves and discarded lines. Our poetry turns to ever more soil. The shrubs dancing in wind as we tear down the concrete steps that once led to who knows where. We don't care. We let footfall lead us to wherever the hell we like. It is not a trail to the end. It is a trail we walk along happily, slowly, and forever. My next piece I wrote, and it reminded me of Asela because Asela has such a wonderful way to respond to pop pieces, especially songs and movies. So I try to channel Asela when I do the same and capture like that brightness that I get from pieces of media. This is called Why the Dancing Queen Scene and Mamma Mia Makes Me Cry. I want the laughter that bubbles behind my clavicles to stay there forever, making me buoyant with joy as I circle the sunshine in overalls and tangled hair. I want to twirl with my friends along sparkling shore without having to wonder how long we have in this chorus, how much time we might have wasted singing and dancing and sprinting with dirt in our toes. I am tired of the morose hum and being a productive member of society. I want to bellow and shake my ass at the sea-kissing horizon, slurping fruits on sun-bleached rocks. Why do I feel eyes in the darkness of my window as I replay YouTube to watch Meryl Streep sing her heart out once again? They are today's heroes. In a world where crowded inbox and tired eyes are badges of honor, where sheer, unadulterated, unapologetic joy is suspicious. I do not want wealth or fame or productivity or to be perceived. I only want to dance with them. And my last piece, I might get a little emotional reading it, but I wrote it for Asela during a workshop over NaPoWriMo. This is called Pisces, because we're both Pisces. Two swimmers in a pond, ink blue reflection spotted with a twinkle of our stars. We leapt from one to the other, bodies of water promising to hold, but never able to contain the laughter and joy bubbling from breath. Your scales are iridescent, not mirroring mine as much as showing who we truly are, can be. My twin constellation, how serendipity grinned the moment we found one another. You sing with every triumph, sit in melancholic togetherness when we need it. A friend I found, both fish out of water as we searched for the next great place. We are fine, we say, we are going to be fine. Adjacent and constant, we can breathe again. Thank you, and congratulations, Asela, again. I'm so, so proud of you.
Thank you so much. Those were great. If you've got some socials, drop them in the chat and people can follow you. And if you've got a link where to pick up your chapbook, Handspun Rosaries, drop that in the chat too. So, all right. And all right. Before we get to Asela, one more thing, Carlos, I'm gonna put you on the spot real quick. Can you just give us a little background about how you developed this amazing cover art?
Oh well, oh geez, where to start? First off, those were amazing pieces by all three, all two, all the people who read. They were also beautiful and intimate, and I think that was amazing works of art. Um, and then also, I'm very sorry for not following the initial design Asela planned for this. When I was reading her Asela's draft, the first one was Blue Hour, and then that just like I had this rush of like image of, oh, this is like immediately what I thought of when I read it, and I had to draw it. So and then once I saw it, I'm like, wait, I think this is what Asela wanted, so I showed it, and then it was like, what happened to the previous one? And I was thinking, I was like, oh, I should have done that. So I had to like add some things and work some things, but overall, it was mainly just um, reading the piece, and then realizing that I had an instant picture of what I thought, and I just really wanted to emulate that when I read it. Um, yeah, like I just pictured a sailor sitting in like some like void desk area room and just like looking at a setting and then looking out a window and then like beam of light coming through. And I'm like, okay, I'm gonna do this. But yeah.
Well, it turned out amazing, and I have to say I'm glad we didn't go with the first idea because I don't think this could be matched. This is perfect for this collection for finally the mixtape. It's just wonderful.
Well, thank you. I really appreciate it. And thank you for the opportunity as well to both you and also Asela. So I'm really glad just to be here. Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you so much. All right. Now, the moment we've all been waiting for. Asela Lee Kemper is a poet who resides in Southern Oregon. She is a poetry editor at Variety Pack magazine and has previously worked with presses and magazines, including Timberline Review and Copper Canyon Press. She also has published works in Silk Club, Quiet, and the anthology No Tender Fences. Asela uses her passion for creative writing to open conversations on diversity and identity in literature. And we've got her socials that we're going to drop in the chat, so you can follow her there. And without any further ado, I'm turning it over.
Thank you so much, Karen, for that introduction. Thank you so much. And I'm going to echo the same sentiment as you, Karen, and that I'm so glad we didn't go through the original cover. Carlos, you did such an amazing job. I want to say that same way. You did such an amazing job. Like, it was better than I expected. So I'm so happy, and it really captured like the spirit of this micro chapbook, which actually I have to give credit to Dina, because Dina, you were the one who first told me about Ganching Teeth publishing, and I thought I shoot my shot, and then it just snowballed into where we are now. Yeah. So I have to give credit to you, Dina. If it weren't for you recommending it to me, we wouldn't be sitting here right now. But I am now here to read some poems, if that's all right with everyone. So I actually asked Karen just now how many poems, and Karen just like, it's your show, Asela. I'm like, oh yeah, you're right. So I'll read some poems and then we'll see how, and if you get tired of it, definitely like put on sleep. But let me find some poems, I think. Let's start with something short. So kind of a background too about this micro chapbook is this whole collection was inspired by the amazing Barbara Jane Reyes from her poetry collection, Letters to a Young Brown Girl. I love the part where she has this section of just how she uses music titles or just songs and just right after, and having this different interpretation of how she feels in that moment while listening to the songs. And this is the inspiration, and I want to say thank you to Barbara Jane Reyes for that. So the first poem I'm going to read is called Trap. When Doves Cry by Prince and the Revolution. For Mom. I think we are in a better place where I can tell you how much I love you in Japanese without feeling guilt rage. Yes, I still carry around little secrets in my pocket, and I may never reveal them all to you. But I have a feeling that you'll still hold me, saying you love me. The next poem is actually the first poem of the micro chapbook. Thank you. And it's called Track, Blue Hour by Tomorrow by Together. And this was actually, I read this on a couple occasions on TikTok. I believe you hear a little preview of it, but there's some changes here and there. So here we go. Track, Blue Hour by Tomorrow by Together. As the clock ticks 5:53, I take a deep breath. I sit back and look at my reflection. How can one find these eyes disgusting? I pull back from writing about my identity, reducing my Asian pride. But today is Lunar New Year. I grapple onto my pen and jot down my thoughts on this blue hour, reminding myself that my tan skin and monolids are small details of my masterpiece. Mixed with pastel and black monochrome clothing, bursting ambivert energy that rises like a slow bird. The orange-pink sky lifts me up as I twirl through the stars, guiding me to a place where my dream is finally welcome. Writing and reciting my story with pride from how far my ancestors have come. Happy disco sound quilted with my mom's hiragana, my attempt at Hangul, and memories of my blood father's Mandarin. I'll dance all night before this blue hour ends. This next poem is actually the second poem. Actually, I lied, everyone. The next poem is actually one of the songs. I'm a big Rina Sawayama fan, so I've always listened to her albums, and I'm so excited that whenever she released new music. And one of the songs that I love, this is one of the two songs that I've written after her songs, and one of them is called Alter Life, and I remember listening to it for the first time, and I cried and I bawled. Like, who hasn't cried to Rina Sawayama? But this one particular has a special place in my heart. So it's called Track, Alter Life by Rina Sawayama. The girl inside is healing. My Akasan dusted the top piece of her old lavender hanbok before she turned to me and asked if it would look cute just as a top. Akasan would sit back as she shares a time when she lived in Tokyo, ice skating when she wanted to be alone, enjoying strawberry cakes that are not too sweet, and relaxing at the hot springs. Though her eyes gloomed, there was a small twinkle as if she hasn't rejected her home completely. She once said she didn't have a home here or back in Japan, and that I, at least, can stand on concrete proclaiming that this country is where I was born, my home. The closest thing I will be to my Korean heritage is blasting BTS's music through my headphones. Looking up their lyrics, I mumbled each syllable while studying their enunciation, in case I got it right. Making a casual statement that while I am here to look cute and be semi-fancy, I still wear my heritage on my sleeve. But even then, I still feel lost. Next poem is actually kind of a little nice poem. It's kind of slow, a little first love song kind of. And it's actually based on a dream that I had. And it's called Track, Dream Lover by Mariah Carey. I felt your warmth for the first time. Your face was still a blur, but when you rested your chin on my shoulders, it was like you've been here before. The guys I desire existed on posters and music videos on YouTube, yet you felt so real. Mom even saw you passing by in a blue and black tux, disguising yourself as Lin-Manuel Miranda. But your skin tone matches mine. Your presence is a glimpse of someone who sees me, eyes only on me. Though I am beyond searching for someone to fill in the holes in my heart, repair what was left broken, I still want someone next to me. Our bond radiates the same energy as Dolly Parton and her husband, a man who doesn't tear me apart so he can finally understand me, but a man who respects me and protects me. I am my own person. He needs to know that and love that. You are the closest man to have me understand what love felt like. Let's see. So this next one is a little bit of a trigger warning. So this poem was actually written back in a couple of years ago, and it was during the light of the Asian hate crimes. And one point, I believe, it was like around the time when there was a incident about was it Atlanta? The Atlanta shooting, yeah. So it was about like majority of the victims were Asian women. And on the same day, it just happens that there was a magazine that does like a caricature or like a parody of like different artists to celebrate the Grammys. BTS was nominated during that year, but one of the covers had BTS being beaten, the caricature versions of BTS being beaten by a Grammy award, like a whack-a-mole. And it just happened to be on the same day as the Atlanta shooting. So this was my reaction to what was going on. Track Black Swan by BTS. Okay, I lied. This was not the poem. It was a different poem, but it's still the same thing. It's still the touch on the same thing. It's just the racism and the internalized racism. But still, there's one of the two of the same themes. Track Black Swan by BTS. With Tamar's jokes and elders' faces flashing on tweet after tweet, rest in peace. I don't want to be here. I have grown numb to apologies from strangers who only saw me once, and friends who I haven't spoken to after I left Folsom and Ashland and tried to be better. The pain I had since I was 6 and that it rested in my chest, began to burst. Through my rib cage, drilling holes in each bone as every memory and unsure problem that were gaslit crept back to me. Even if my memory was foggy, I would never lie. I would never let this hurt become a part of my bloodstream, letting myself hate be its own person if everything recalled were stories on TV. Nobody taught me this pain. Okasan taught me to stand up for myself. I only learned to blend in, leaving my identity behind to pitchforks and racial banter. I hid from the crowd, afraid that they will look down on my sensitivity whenever my Asianness gets put into question, debating if I was worth saving. When I lifted my head for the first time, I almost broke my neck. At this point, I don't want anyone's sympathy or succumb to my own toxic thoughts. I just want to be alone. So let's find a little bit more of a calmer after that. Let's see. So this one is also a short poem, a little bit of a short poem. And this was from one of my other artists I really love is Asela Lee. And I didn't realize she had a new album come out until like very late. And there's a song called There Isn't Much. And I just came across it like randomly on YouTube. And for around that time, it just kind of connect back to what I was feeling in that moment. So this is the poem. Track. There isn't much, but Asela Lee. Maybe if I turn into a canary, you'll finally hear me. But even then, no matter how many songs are chirped to, you will still ask me to repeat again. I wonder if my throat is worth having a voice. If I could learn how to sign, stretch my facial muscles the way Michelle Yeoh or Meryl Streep do. Scrunch my face to show that I am pissed at the world, or you without having to scream until I can feel my lungs ready to burst. Massage these cheeks, raise my eyebrows to match the corners of my mouth so you'll know I can laugh too. I can be happy too. If I shake my feathers at your direction, would you still understand me? Would it be loud enough? Let's see, next one. How many poems that was, Karen? I honestly lost track. I honestly lost track of
Track
all of
two, I'm
that.
kind of enraptured. So the chat is saying read them all.
Read them all. Read them all of it. All right. I hear you. Yeah, might as well, might as well. It's only 11 poems, it's not bad, you know. So let me see. Let me think of one. Okay, so let me read this one. So this is a little bit of a long one. And this was similar to track Black Swan by BTS, which is similar to like the light of the Asian hate crimes. And one of these moments is when it was actually came out the news after the Atlanta shooting, and with the whole BTS being predicted as getting beaten up on like one of the covers. It was the day before I had to go to work, and it was almost like not a lot of people are talking about it. And I went back to work, and it was mainly like majority being a white space. So it was kind of like I didn't want to talk. It was kind of hard to kind of interact with my coworkers. So this is part of it. And also after that, it's kind of having this reinsurance of who I am and as a person. So this is also the two of the Rina Sawayama song. It's called Leak. Love Me for Me by Rina Sawayama. After Barbara Jane Reyes. 1. I took a deep breath in case America decides to end me. I closed off from everyone at work as the images of Korean and Chinese women from Atlanta float in my mind. The faces of BTS as their Cabbage Patch Kids counterparts, bruised and barely alive by a large golden gramophone, linger me, no matter how much I shake it off, trying to convince myself that they'll never see me. They'll never see me. I can't ease the anxiety that they might drag into the corners of a high school parking lot, blaming me for a virus I didn't cause as they slash across my face, close to the bottom of my eyelids, bash my head to the concrete until I look more unrecognizable than Cabbage Patch BTS's. Maybe if I paste my mouth shut with Gorilla Glue, blind my eyes with a bandana I got from Loot Crate, please. I can't let them find me. 2. Your image circled back to me. I taped the picture of your glossy face, caked with foundation and highlighter that made your cheekbones sparkle under the warm yellow light. You once admitted that you hated the color yellow, that it only resembled urine. But the picture of you dancing beneath its yellow spotlight, blending its shade to yours. We used to laugh and poke fun at the color for not being cool as charcoal black eyeliner or sky blue trucks or sugary pink cupcakes. But as much as we've gravitated towards this hate, yellow has been a good color on us. It brought us good luck as white and black cats held a gold coin next to their chest, smiling as they know we'll be doing okay. Let's see. I always like, thank you. It's really, oh yeah, there is more. There is more. I honestly forgot there is more. Wow, that's hilarious. Okay, so let me read a couple more. So then I won't leave you all with a very sad note. I won't leave you all sad. So, all right. So this next poem, I believe this is from Kehlani's new album, at least her most recent album. And I loved it so much. And one of the songs that was inspired was called Melt. And it helped capture what I was feeling like internet culture, and also around the time when there was just a lot of debate around like how Asian Americans were being spotlighted and how to, in terms of like representation, or how like they're being used, or how they wanted to use their voices. And sometimes they misuse like Asians who are living in Asia as like Asian Americans, when while Asians who do live in America, or like who are from Asia, are valid for in terms of their racism, it also kind of casts a shadow, or like kind of overlook the Asian Americans who have been living here, and just kind of making it seem like they're blending the voices, when at the end of the day, we're not a monolith. So this is kind of like what was going on during this time. So it's called Track, Felt by Kaylani. I try to take a break. I lay my thoughts out under the sun, letting it beam directly onto my temples as its rays burn out my toxic traits or any remnants of who I used to be. Sound of mom scolding me to go outside, and screenshots of tweets from Stan Twitter and white and non-Asian allies going back and forth on whether or not if BTS should even speak for me, pushing me out of the corner, trying to prove who had a better common sense. I told them that I needed some room to breathe, but they screamed they're doing this for the Asian community. I kept shoving these scraps of stress into my skull, pushed them back to the edges of its bone until there were barely any room for my brain. They sometimes break through the cracks at 4 a.m. I sung to them. Never knew love like this before, until we closed our eyes and lulled ourselves to sleep. They had been telling me to rest. But who is going to calm these thoughts down? Let me be calm and find some certainty. So I'm going to read. I'll read 2 more. Let's read 2 more. Let's read 2 more, because I feel like there's one I'm just like, I'll say that because I don't want to leave it in a sad note. But here's one. And this is also another Prince track. And it's called Track, Purple Rain by Prince and the Revolution, for Dad. When you peer through the clouds, do you feel proud? Proud that I'm carrying your name stitched to a ripped jeans vest that you left in our garage, a shadow once yours. Did you leave it there on purpose? Sometimes I imagine that your old Harley would be there. Scratches from your accident before you had that surgery. It still runs as if it was ready for another road trip. I would strap your jacket, hop onto your Harley, and ride off to the places you used to go. I took a deep breath. You would be riding beside me. If I took a deep breath, you would ride beside you two used to go, yeah. If you took a deep breath, you would be riding beside me, holding my waist and shouting for joy like Tom Hanks did when he rode behind Julia Roberts on her scooter, smiling broadly as we set off on our next adventure. Let the sun shine down our path as the wind breathes through my cheeks, just to see the world through your eyes one last time. All right, let's read one more. It's one more, all right? We're all ready to go, yeah. So this one is a little bit of a fun one. And this one's actually, it's kind of a meme on the internet. And I kind of thought it was a very nice sentimental theme before I realized it was a meme. So I wrote it and attached to this amazing sped up version of I Like by Guy. And there's a sped up version for it, which is again a sound that was trending on TikTok. So it's called Track, I Like by Guy, sped up version. If I was a worm, would you love me if I turned into a worm? One day I might wake up to my body shrinking into a sluggish, long body as I crawl to the nearest apple, dug head first until I reach its core. As you grab that same apple to take a bite, I will shriek until my lungs give out for you to stop. Would you still love me then? What if I suddenly combust into stardust? My glitter ashes sprinkle down on your temples, the wrinkles on the corner of your eyelids and dimples shower down on you like they were pixie dust. Would you let my tiny stars cover your body? Would you still love me, even if you are left with my brother? The brother who has seen me grow and laugh and cry and fight, lived. I know he can be a handful, but he's the only family I have left, a piece of me. Would you care for my brother? If I had disappeared suddenly, would you still love me? So that is a little bit some of my poems. If you want to read more or just listen to me read, definitely get Finally the Mixtape. One more, one more poem. One more poem. I mean, it can't. I mean, if you want a sad one, if you want a little bit of sad one, who wants a one more poem? Because that would be we covered everyone get one more poem. All right. We'll do one more poem. All right. So this one is a little bit of a sad one, and I'll try my best not to cry because this one kind of holds a bittersweet place in my heart because this is a Sam Smith song. And for some reason, even though the song itself is not particularly about like family, it's about like someone cheating on their spouse. But whenever I hear this track, I think of like my dad and just like the people who I lost. So we'll do it. Track I'm Not the Only One by Sam Smith. I have loved you for many years. Maybe I am just not enough. I wrapped my dad's biker jacket around my shoulders, cradling myself to the playlist I curated. If I listen closely enough, I can hear his voice, whispering how proud he is of me. But I sometimes wonder if I should search for my father. I wrapped my dad's biker jacket around my shoulder while dreaming through reminiscence of father back in Colorado, cradling myself to the playlist I curated. If I listen enough, I can hear his voice, and father's too. I whispered how proud he is of me, as he pretend they're both still beside me. Dead or divorced, I forgot what their hugs felt like, crying over the ghost who broke their promises. And that is finally the mixtape. I hope you all get this copy of it. It's in a CD. If you still want to hear me read like over and over again, definitely catch a copy. Get a copy of it. Definitely. Thank you so much for everyone coming.
Yay! Does anybody have any questions or any comments or anything they'd like to share?
I just want to say that this is going to be the greatest of all time, and I'm so excited to listen to the CD.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Zora. And thank you for coming.
On Facebook, Joshua Hamilton says, thanks for the wonderful poems.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Joshua. Thank you. Thank you so much. And there's a question in the chat. First question, how dare you hurt us? I don't know, Dina. Listen, I didn't expect it to be the pain. You know, I even asked myself the same question too. How dare me? These. Second question from the chat by Nishira. Will we get a finally the mixtape part 2? I mean, if there is a demand for it, then maybe. I mean, if you want that, the man is me. I appreciate that. Oh my goodness. Yes, thank you. Of course. I appreciate hurting you all with my poems. Thank you. Question 2. So what's your go-to karaoke song? I would say Waterfalls by TLC or No Scrubs by TLC. Those are my go-to.
Okay.
Best one.
We have a comment and a question on Facebook. A comment from Kurt Linderman says, thank you. Brilliant packaging and presentation of such moving poems. And Joshua says, did you write the poems while listening to the tracks, or did you write in silence while thinking about the lyrics and sentiments?
I would say a little bit of both. Like some of them, there are a couple of them I listened to just listening to it on my own, and sometimes after that I would just like write it out and just have like this remembering what that sounded like or what I was feeling during that time. And also it just subsequently just happened to be there and I just replay it over and over again. So I thought that was great. So thank you for the question. All right, here's a comment from Katrina. I am so proud of you, twin. Thank you so much. Thank you, Katrina. Thank you so much. Oh, you created a masterpiece. Thank you, Demi. Thank you so much. Let's see. Was there a second question? Okay, I lied. I was playing tricks with myself. Oh, here it is. What is your personal favorite on the micro chat? Oh my goodness. That is a good question. That is a good question. You know, I feel like all of them, that's such a PR question. That is such a PR answer, but I feel like all of them have a special place in my heart. It is like picking your favorite child. No, I don't want to pick a child. I don't want to pick a child. What are your go-to artists to write to? I think it depends on the day. Sometimes it depends on the mood and where I was feeling in that moment. And sometimes I don't need to have like their voices being played while listening to it. I sometimes need some silence, which by learning to appreciate just having no voice or just having instrumentals, as I got older, I'm slowly to learn to appreciate those kinds of moments. So then I have some time to think and not having to have everything just chaotic at once. But I always go back to it anyway. So it's just like, I guess I love the chaos and also the silence at the same time. Let's see. You have a favorite child, choose it. I don't have a favorite. I mean, I would say Blue Hour has a special place in my heart because it was one of the first it was the first poem that I wrote. Well, not the first poem. It was the first poem that I read while recording the audio. And I remember I had like such a difficult time. I remember I sent like a demo to Karen and there's like a lot of editing stuff I had to go through. And I remember I installed this audio program called Audacity. And when I programmed it and I fleshed out like what it sounded like, I was so happy. I was so happy. I was just like, I'm gonna send it. I don't care. Here, have fun. So that one has a special place in my heart because it's just, yeah, it was one of the first ones I recorded. And I always hear in my head how what sound like. If you could have any celebrity read the mixtape, who would it be? Oh, see, this is where I get scared. This is where I get scared. Where they're like, you wrote this after me? I'll be like, yeah. Honestly, I would say like if Namjoon from BTS, if he read this or just like include this in his own album, this be like, that would be wild. That would be wild. I would just, yeah. Yeah. I would say RM from BTS would be like someone I would be honored to have someone read because I know he too is someone who really appreciates literature. So yeah, I'm excited for that. Yes.
But what? Namjoon has already read it. What?
It's an inside joke, Karen. It's an inside joke. It's an inside joke. That's okay.
Send that to anybody named Namjoon.
Yeah. And Namjoon is RM's real name.
Okay.
Yeah, it's an inside joke. Don't worry. Don't worry, Karen. No worries.
After I have a question. Did you think I was crazy when I first proposed to you to put this on a CD?
I mean, I was nervous. I would not gonna lie, I was nervous because I never think I was like, oh, what was that gonna look like? You know, I was kept thinking, but at the same time, I was excited because I didn't think about that because it's also like it's a micro chapbook. It's like pretty short. So I'm like, you know what? That makes sense. Why not? But I didn't realize the amount of recording, which now I appreciate more folks who do record for audiobooks or just anything for literary text. I appreciate them and respect everything about the recording process. Even though I don't have like a mic, I have like GarageBand and Audacity. I appreciate them so much, and I respect that the work. And I might do it again. I have fun. I had so much fun with it, even despite all being like just having a hard time with sometimes the audio editing, but it's fun. I had a good time. I have a good time with that. Next question, Asela, do you know what your Grammy acceptance speech is gonna be? You know, I would love that. I would love to have that. And at the same time, I just kept thinking like, what would happen? Like, I can imagine that what could look like, but at the same time, I would just feel like, I don't know how I would feel. I would be gobsmacked if that actually happened. Like, I would be gobsmacked because I'm not a someone who is like a pro at audio editing and whatnot, so this is a lot, but I would be honored and just gobsmacked and speechless if anything I get nominated for a Grammy at least. So, but for getting an award, I would also still be gobsmacked. I might cry. I feel like I might cry if that happens.
All right. Anybody else? Any more questions for anybody? Well, I want to thank everybody for showing up today, and I just had a great time. I'm glad y'all were here. Thank you to our openers, the opening band, Dina and Katrina and Carlos. And oh my gosh, it's if you haven't got your copy yet, you've got to get this. The link is in the chat. Just go to gnashingteethpublishing.com and look under mixed media. There it is. You can find links on Twitter, on Instagram, on Facebook, on Linktree. I think we're kind of everywhere. So I have a Threads. I've got to get into that. It's just one more thing, right?
Yeah, I would say, I just want to first say thank you so much again to my friends, Dina, Katrina, and Carlos. I just want to say thank you to all three of you because like you really made this event special. And thank you to everyone who came and showed support and love and coming to the reading. I appreciate you all so much. And just like Carlos, you know, I appreciate your art. Like your art has been so amazing. I'll echo it again. It really like you really you really have just made it beyond what I was imagined. Thank you. And Katrina, your poems are amazing. I appreciate it. And thank you so much for reading Butterfly, the attention. Dina, oh my God, I almost teared up when you read your the last two poems. I really appreciate you so much for coming. And also to Karen, I know there's a lot of stuff behind the scenes happening, but I just want to say I appreciate you so much. And thank you so much for taking the chance on this micro chapbook and really putting the idea out for making it into a CD. So I really appreciate you so much. And thank you for taking a chance on me and my little baby. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you for trusting us with it. It's I say this all the time, but it really is an honor to do what we do, to be able to like take an idea, just put it out into the world. So thank you for letting us be able to be that conduit between you and the world.
Absolutely. Thank you. And also for those who don't know, I'm just like the cool school teacher. I dressed up in this occasion as like a cool music teacher. Like I'm Jack Black, but instead of rock music, I come to you all with the love of poetry.
All right. Well, you can catch the replay on YouTube a little later, however long it takes my computer to decide to upload it. And you can share it willingly with all your friends and on all your socials. So thanks again for coming, everybody. Appreciate you. Thank you, Asela. Yay.
Thank you.